adjust the collar, get the phone going, and start streaming on this nice Friday. I'm just going to roll the dice today on poking at the code. I, again, have no fully thought out plan. Just been one of those weeks. Gotta get my head in the game again. You know how it is. But it's Friday, which means, well, I just like Fridays. It doesn't mean anything. I just like them. All right, let's pop out the chat window. I have no intro. Just I'm gonna switch on over to my code and get the ball rolling. So I've been working on trying to get a few sort of prototype, excuse me, algorithms and whatnot for extracting point and path data from PNG images, kind of like what you see on this here, where it's just sort of line sketches. And I had some clustering approaches yesterday, and I managed to come up with something that works okay here. This recursive function here basically accumulates groups within a certain radius kind of thing, and using that logic, it ends up producing a nice small list of points that are the corners. So I was able to get a little further with things. So I can see right here, if I run this corner guess proto on the sketch points here, I get 3 points only, which correspond pretty nicely to the endpoints in the corner. So the next thing to do with that is figure out some way to preserve ordering of those points. If that, and let's see if I can make sense with that. Hey, Monica, good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. You know what? Today I want to make this a different color just for fun. It was Monica, I think you said, right? I hope I'm not getting that wrong. All right, let's see here. Hot pink, sweet. Okay. So I managed to get some sort of improvement on the clustering of these points, but what I don't know is if the order is preserved. So what I mean by that is well, I can just show it. I don't know if I connect the dots, if it'll trace this path or if it'll trace a different path because the points are in a different order. So I can actually go ahead and produce that result now by doing, let's see here. If I undo this here, make this black, polyline instead of polygon, and I think that'll build. Okay. Oh yes, wrong points. What happened? Oh, I think I know. What are we doing today? Well, when it comes to my programming streams, some streams have a similar set of goals in the day. I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but I'll be back and kind of explain what I'm actually trying to achieve. So, in general, I'm working on computer-aided design libraries because I like doing 3D modeling and engineering design work, but I want to build my own tools to make it open source and that kind of stuff. One of the things that I thought would be a fun sort of module to add is, so I have an iPad here and I can sketch on this program, right? Can draw. And the idea or an idea is I think it would be really cool to be able to do you know, a lot of engineers that I like when I was working in companies and stuff, we go on a piece of scrap paper and if we have to design something, you say, okay, well, what if we did like this first, right? You draw some shape and then you later you agree on the general idea, and then someone goes in to AutoCAD and draws up an official version, measured up and everything. But the idea that I'm working on is, what if you can take those rough sketches and put them in your CAD directly? Kind of have a little more direct connection with the computer and what you're drawing. So here, right, I just drew that on my iPad and sent it to this program that I'm writing and am tracing it out here. So yesterday, I was working on some algorithm to detect these red points here, which are endpoints and corners. And today I'm kind of continuing to go down that path to see if I can make some heuristics for refining the shape so that I can turn it into useful sketch data that you could turn into different 3D designs and stuff like that. In my opinion, that would be an extremely cool way to interface with CAD design software. So I'm just mocking up some demos and stuff like that. I can imagine myself walking into a boardroom, you know, of a manufacturing place. I pull out the iPad, I sketch a little drawing out, and you can see it on the projector screen live, you know, and I think people would think that's really cool. So so I'm working toward that kind of vision. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. It's exciting to me anyway. So what I'm doing though is just checking now if the point order actually makes sense. And to do that, I have to pass these as a float value, I think, and that should... well, I was incorrect. Alright, so what's going on here? Yeah, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. That's the bit of the motivation behind what I'm trying to do for today anyway. If that explanation didn't completely make sense, by the way, feel free to ask any clarifying questions. I love talking about CAD and design and all that stuff, so I could talk about it for hours. I did something wrong here, so let's have a little peek at what's happening here. Okay, so oh yes, of course. Is there a V float? Did I make that in here? Yeah. Okay, this should work. Okay. So this is the next particular problem I have to work with, right? So what happened here, this black line indicates the ordering of those points, and that is very clearly not the correct ordering based on the pink sketch that I have underneath there. So that's the next problem to work on. So the ordering is clearly, it's approximately anyway. It looks like it's leftmost point to rightmost point, but that's obviously not what I need. I kind of want this to be the first point, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6, 7, 8, right? And I don't know how I'm going to go about that, but that seems to be the next big ticket item here. I'm going to test something here for a minute. Go back to an old drawing. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. We'll zoom that out. Yeah, so there we go. Even on a simple case, the ordering is not correct. So so what do I do? How how do I solve this problem? Oh, what's interesting, actually, well, I don't know if it's interesting, but the order, if it were left to right ordering, then it would be correct. Twitch is acting up, you're going to reset it? No problem. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so I have to basically, for ordering, I kind of have to well, this is difficult, actually. So my first thought, I don't know what my first thought is. So what I actually want to do for a quick second here, this here, boy, there's a lot of junk in this. Let me clean this up a little bit here. The points I currently care about, okay, I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit to let this be just a little easier to follow. Okay. Right, so I should actually give this a proper name here. what should I call this? Well, okay, first of all, actually I can call this I points now for idealized points. I can just get rid of this I points. Data, I'm pretty sure I can get rid of. Let's change this to I points now. That's what it is. Twitch is working now? Oh, good to have you back. Yeah, sometimes things just go a little bit wrong and there's no clear explanation. Just gotta restart the program, right? So I don't know, did you miss my explanation as to what I was doing? Or did you get that? Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay. Let's have a look here. This data thing I can actually get rid of too. The object, currently I want to keep that because that's the pink there. Bounding box is the red box outline, which I want to keep. All these midpoints I'm pretty certain I can actually just get rid of. Oh, I deleted something important there, I think. No, we're good, I think. Find out in a minute. Points comes from the sketch. Let's see if this will build. Ah, nope, I goofed. Oh, yes. I do need this set of midpoints. ASDF, yeah. Where's that now? Here we go for point in I points. There we go. Okay. All right, good. We kind of just decluttered this a little bit. It's still not perfect, but this is all just prototyping, so that's good. This is also an old note, actually, so I can just delete that. Are you still painting that that bedroom with falling leaves, or did you manage to get that done, Monica? If you're listening and if you're interested in sharing, of course, no pressure, right? No pressure at all. Let's see. This every other. Let's move it up here. Call it every other point. Save that. This I probably should get rid of that or make it better, but we'll leave that. The bisector thing, actually I'm gonna get rid of that as well. I've got notes all over this project, which is not a bad thing, but I gotta kind of go through them and address them for myself, but that's okay. All right, let's see here. Okay, maybe okay, so my idea for let's use simplify sketch to kind of segment out some subpoints between all these points, and using those subpoints kind of see if I could get a direction vector or something like that to kind of pick the closer direction, pick the next closest point that I should draw to, if that makes any sense. Let's just see if something comes up, something bubbles up in my mind. S points is going to be, how does this work again? It's simplify sketch takes points and the number of segments that I need here. Okay, so points is going to be apply concat to points, and the number of segments I'm going to do is 10 because that should be fine. And then here, temporarily, what I'm going to do is swoop. What did I do here? Something's wrong. Here. Should work doing it this way, I think. Well, hopefully. I think that could work. We'll see. We will see. Something goofed there. Okay, let's go here. Let's have a try. Nth not supported. Really? That was close. Let's just undo this for a moment. I think actually what I have to do is this. Instead of boy, oh boy, I am letting myself get a little confused here, but I'm just going to be okay with that. Yeah. Okay. And then no flat points. Let's try that. If this doesn't work, I have one option yet. One problem with prototyping things is that, you know, things can get a little out of hand and confusing sometimes. But there we go, I got there. So nicely-ish anyway. I do have right, so what I could do is something along the lines of, well, what are the first take 3 points here? What are the first 3 points? Okay, that is there. Is that guaranteed to be true? Let's see. Oop. Let's try a more complicated drawing for a minute. Zip. All right, let's see what this looks like. Excuse me, apologies. Very apologies. Okay. Ooh, it doesn't work the way I wanted. Okay, so it's a bit of a no-go. Alright. What does this look like if I do all of these? Let's see here. That is so not helpful. Let's do 100 segments just to really. Let's do 1,000. Yeah, okay, so as the number goes way up, they do bunch together along the real shape, but that's not a good solution. Right. So what I'm poking around with here, my idea, what's an easy way to explain this? Is there an easy way to explain it? I'm sure there is. My idea was basically to, I'm not going to draw it, I'm just going to verbalize it. My idea was to basically, let me go back to the other drawing, which I'm all over the place. I need this one. Okay, good. All right. Let's build this one more time. Oh, this, by the way, only needs to be 10 again. Right, so my idea was this. This black line is following the wrong direction. So using the 3 points that the end point, or pardon me, that my corner guessing algorithm comes up with, what I was going to do is create from some first point, you create 2 vectors from that point to each of the other points. Then you create a vector from the original shape's first 2 points, and whichever vector is closer, whichever has a smaller angle from that vector, is the next point that you have to draw to. That was the idea. The problem there is with that other shape I tried, there's no guarantee that you will have there's no guarantee that you'll get the right vector to test with up front. So you'd have to do some other sorting work anyway. So that's maybe a bit of a non-starter as an approach. What to do instead? That's the question I don't have an answer to. The other problem is, for a more complicated shape, my segmentation approach doesn't really work that reliably either, right? Like you saw with that weird sort of open rectangle shape, that for low simplify segment numbers, it just had no correlation with the shape at all. You had to go to 1,000 segments to get kind of close, which is just that's not good enough. So the other thought along those lines I have is to do some sort of trimming idea, and by that I kind of mean what do I mean? How do I do it? These are the challenges. I'm honestly a little stuck. That's where my head's at the moment. Maybe I can get clever here. All right. I got to delve back into some new some other library code here. Let's go open up Forge again and have a look at what's going on in there, because it's been a while. Intersection stuff is what I'm looking at here. Oh boy, this was bad of me to literally have a function called fake. I don't remember why I did that. I'm pretty sure I can get rid of that, but I'm gonna have to check that. Whoops. Okay, well, what I want to do is this polygon intersection function. I want to have a look at what the result is, as in what points it returns when I run it through here. So let's get rid of this S points thing. The simplified points thing is probably not quite where I want to go with things. So instead, what I'll do, oh man, I'm burpy today. That's my bad. I had lunch a little too not long enough ago. Polygon, oops, intersection. So what this should do is return the points at which the two polygons intersect, and I'm going to treat the points and eye points each as their own. And let's see if that'll work. It does not. Okay. And the reason for that is, I don't know. Okay, so I believe it might have something to do with not the float. Just swinging for the fence here. Here. This should do the trick. maybe. Let's give that a shot. Okay. Okay, we've got something there. So the only intersection points I'm drawing, yeah, okay. So is that actually helpful? That's kind of my question. I'm not sure. But I am gonna go to the washroom for a minute. I won't be long. I won't be long at all. Okay, so no inspiration struck me while I was away. I mean, I wasn't away for that long, so that's not really surprising. But I need to come up with some approach here that I can use to more closely align these points, because I feel like I'm really close, but I'm just not there yet. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. A thought I'm having is, given just the points that, given the idealized points, so the end points in the corner, could I segment the original polygon into different polygons by slicing along horizontal and vertical axes, and then using those slices to determine directionality of things, I wonder if I could do something like that. Let's see if that makes any sense. Let's see if I can do that. What's a good way to do it? Okay, so my idea is this. Let's see here. Slice polygon. So the idea here is slice up a polygon in X and or Y directions to get segments based on idealized points, endpoints, and corner points. Then use midpoints of these segments to get approximate direction vectors. To help order the idealized points in the proper stroke direction. I think that makes a bit of sense. I have no idea. So in order to slice though, let's just come up with some simple slice approach here. So let's do slice Y. Points and slice point. You know what? Let's do let's keep it simple. I'll hard code stuff and generalize it later. That's fine. So basically, if I have some slice point, what I'm thinking all I have to do is partition the whole thing by the whole polygon by if the y value of a point is less than that, or sorry, if I want to slice it using the y line, I want to check that the x value is less than that line position. So all I need to do is partition by the function that checks that the first from the value you're checking is less than the first of slice point. Using that, partition the points list. Does that make sense? Let's see here. Oh, I'm back, by the way. Whoops. Oh. What have I done? Jeez, it's ridiculous. Okay, not sure what I just did there. Oh yeah, I just have this. Very simple, very, very simple. Let's save this, let's clear this up, and let's give this a try. Okay, all I have to do there is take, what do I want to take here? If I run sketch, whoops, to extract the point data, yeah. Right, so first of sketch is just that same list, which is good. Let's see here. Well, what I would like to do is have a look at let's see. Let's do, here, I'll just do it in the REPL for a minute. Okay, so this, I'm going to use this middle point as the slice point for the sketch polygon and see if it gets me two lists. That's really all I want to check at this point. It should slice Y, the first from sketch, and slice it with this point. Let's see, there should be a split in this list. Right here there is. Okay, that looks promising. Let's go ahead and mess around with that. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's move this all the way up here because I can actually calculate it right out of the gate. That's I points, slice point I just happen to know is, wait, do I happen to know this? Maybe I'm wrong here. Oh, you know what, I think I did something wrong here. Okay. This slice point here is actually the last, it's number 3 here, the third point. Oh, wait a second. What am I doing? Let's look at the X values first. Oh, these are, I'm being silly here. Let me map v float onto this so that I don't have to convert fractions in my brain. Yeah. Yeah, this first point is actually what I'm trying to look at here. This X point is in between this X point and this X value, I should say. So that's here. So this is point 1, point 2, point 3. Okay, glad I sorted that out. It's crazy. So I'm just gonna hard code that here. I'm gonna take first from this list to slice it there. It kind of makes sense, right? I think that makes sense. It'll actually slice it, it'll actually split it up more than one time too, because not all, let me just draw these things on the screen and see what it looks like. That'll be a better way to sort of debug this stuff. So first of I points is the slice point. Perfect. Okay. Slice A is slice Y of points slice point, right? Yeah, that should work. Oh no, sorry, let me do it this way. Okay, I'm losing my train of thought here, unfortunately. This is not exactly helping me out. Gotta focus for a second. Let me go back here, right, and rerun this one. Yeah. But let's run it with a count. I think this count result should be 4. Oh, it's only 3. Which should be fine. That should be okay. Let me just do this. Just to start the ball rolling here, I'll just do nth of this slice result, 0 to take the first slice there. That's a list of points that I can turn into an object by doing this. Gets messy again, but that's fine. And this is SLA. Okay, that should be a little bit okay. It should produce a valid object if I change this and render this. Ooh, not quite. What did I do wrong now? Okay, so I went wrong somewhere. Okay, slice Y. Right here, apply concat points. Okay, that didn't quite work, and the reason for that, not certain yet. Okay, here. This has to be messily copied here. Let's do x points 2. Yeah, and then this is not SLA, it's x points 2. Is that going to do the trick? Not quite. Still not rendering anything. Okay, so I've lost the plot a little bit. Let's see here. Let's just go through this. We'll render them all one at a time. Let's try that. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay. Okay, so that's actually worked a little better than I thought. I'm gonna do myself a favor here though and get rid of this S points thing here for now entirely, And I won't render that, I'll render eye points just to try and keep things a little bit cleaner here. Right, so what I kind of want to do is in this slice thing here, I want to filter this list by count less than 100. Let's do that. So filter count. Oh, sorry, let me do it this way. Count of the thing is less than 100, which just means there's fewer. This is hard to read. All I mean is this list, if there's fewer than 100 total points, then just get rid of that segment because it's likely to be a tiny little bit on the endpoints. So doing that, if I run this, I kind of expect the count to now be 2, and that it is. So that's pretty helpful. That is pretty helpful. Okay, so now for each of those segments, if I get the midpoints of those, I now can use approximate vectors to get. Wait, does that make sense? Let's see here. Boy, oh boy. This is actually complicated. That's okay though. All right. What do I have going on? Well, let's keep the ball rolling with this idea. So these slices that I'm working on will have midpoints. And that's kind of all I don't care about actually drawing the slices now. I only really care about the midpoints of them. So I'm gonna undo my hard work here. It's a little bit sloppy, if anything. Right, so instead of taking the nth of these, I actually can take this entirely and just get the midpoints. This should be okay. Slice mid, slice midpoints is map v drop z of map f slash midpoint to this. Okay. Object 2 doesn't exist, so we get rid of that. And what I'd like to do here is concat I points and SM points. Did I mess it up? I did. Object 2 does not exist. Of course it doesn't. Let's just draw the original. Ooh, not quite. Not quite what I expected. Let me undo this part here and just render those to see what's happening here. Oh, there. Okay, so something's wrong. Huh. Okay. All right, let's do this in the REPL. Nothing wrong with doing it that way. Okay, so let's zip back up this way. Oh, I've done something wrong again. Okay. Vector float these. Okay, let's def slice point is first of this. Okay, fine, that's good. So now let's do slice y of first of sketch slice point okay, well that's not what I expected. What did I do wrong here? I goofed it up. I'll tell you that much. I really goofed that one up. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so I mean, I guess I could sort by and slice by, right? Let's try that. That might make more sense. Let's see here. So first, all right, let's take a step back here. Okay, here, sort by first. We'll jumble all the points up from their original sorting, but we'll have all the minimum x values first and all the maximum first. So this should partition things neatly for me, I think. So let's give it a try. Oh, I do, so that one. Okay, that looks like the count should be 2. So let's run that again with a count. 2, okay. That's promising. Okay. So now if I run that again, if I draw this thing again, that should maybe give me better points to work with here. There we go, okay. So now we've got 2 midpoints of each segment, which looks pretty nice, right? I'm happy with that. So the next thing to do is figure out some approach I can use to kind of nicely get this line to follow the correct trajectory along that. And so my thought is to what is my thought? It's always the question here. Combo / combinations. If I have unique combinations of 3 different things, whoops. Not what I meant to do. I should do it this way, right? No? Let's try to actually read what the expected Oh yes, I didn't pass enough arguments. Of course. Right, so 1, 2, 3. Let's do all possible combinations of 2. Right. 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3. Yeah, that makes sense. So my idea here is to use this combinations function to create the all possible line segments between the points, which really isn't that difficult to do if I think about it. Anyway, that should be fine. Then all I need to do is check if the midpoints are close to those line segments or far away. So how can I do that? Well, what I can do is calculate the midpoints of the exact segments and then do a distance calculation and sort that way. So okay, let's go ahead and do that. So what I can do there is something. What I can do there is something. Yes. How accurate. Okay. So slice Y is this. Let's just make a slice X while I'm at it, just for simplicity's sake. And what I do here instead is actually just take second from there and second here. I don't like that though. It's messy, but this is all just a starting point anyway, just to prove to myself that things can kind of work. This obviously does run into problems when, well, maybe not obviously. It might run into problems when a sketch goes like here. It doesn't double back under itself at all. If it did, my slice would create technically unnecessary segmentation, right? So not completely perfect, but I don't know if that actually is going to matter all that much. What I can do is figure it out. So the correct number of midpoints, right, is going to be n minus 1, where n is equal to the number of endpoints or corner points. So 1, 2, 3 has 2 midpoints. If it's an open section, if it's a closed section, that's a whole different ballgame, which I'm not going to cover right now because things get complicated really quickly, and I want to kind of just build things up slowly, one bit at a time. So I'm losing my mind. Next thing to do. What should I call this? Eliminate segments. Maybe. Okay. So how do I want to do this? there's going to be two sets of points that I have to do comparisons with, right? So this is going to be confusing. Okay, so I have the I points, which are the idealized endpoints. And I have the segment endpoints, segment midpoints, I mean. Okay, let's leave a little note for myself here. I points equals idealized points, endpoints, and corner points, not necessarily in order. SM points equals, I'm not putting this in a doc string because these are not likely to be the final naming convention. I just am making a note so I don't forget what I even meant with that. Segment midpoints of sliced segments. Does that make any sense? It might, but I'll think about that again after I fill up some water here. Okay. Let's tackle this. Let's tackle it. Right, so let's assume that for this eliminate segments function, I let's assume that I have the right number of I points and midpoints passed into the function already, just to keep this ball rolling. So to do that, to do my idea, I do need to create lines with this combo / combinations of the idealized points with 2 in each combination, because a line is just 2 endpoints, is defined by 2 endpoints, for the sake of this anyway. Nice and simple. And then I midpoints is map how do I want to do this? Okay. We'll just do it the lazy way. For L in lines, build up this structure, which is just line is L, and the M point is f/midpoint of L. Okay, so that is extremely easy. Now, all I should have to do is sort take decrement count I points, take n minus 1, right, where n is the number of I points, take that amount from sort by wait a second, that's oh, this is not quite right. Let me think just for a second here. I could do this in the for loop, I think, instead. Right, so let's start this thought over here. Let's actually just go ahead and do this. We'll just make lines and we'll just run a for loop, because I think I can put all the logic into a for loop directly, and that could be good enough for now. Okay, so for each line, right, what I need to do is create M is the midpoint, is just f/midpoint of the line, and then it's the right way to do this. Basically, I just need the take while, no, filter with the function yeah, f/distance between wait a second, what am I doing here? What am I trying to do? Yeah, I think this works. The distance from that midpoint to the other SM midpoints is less than, I'm going to assume 20. That's just a guess. Okay. And let's assume that that makes sense. I don't know. Let's see. So wait a second, this doesn't actually boy, I'm losing I'm having a hard time focusing on this solution today. It's a little I'm getting a little lost in the weeds, unfortunately, but I think I'm along the right lines here, so I'm gonna keep pursuing this. Hey Mike, happy Friday to you too. How you doing? I hope you're doing okay. I'm making progress again. It might not look like it, but I'm getting pretty decent results with an improved approach to kind of clustering and all that kind of stuff. Doing all right. Been raining all week, and now it's a bit cold. No rain. Good day. Yeah, you know, the rain can be a bit of a bummer if you like being outside all the time, but rain and cold is a lot worse. And just cold, I actually quite enjoy that, because you could always bundle right up, and if you're going on a run or a bike ride or something, you can kind of unzip different layers to kind of modulate your temperature. So yeah, it's a good day. I'll agree with you there completely. Although I do like a nice cozy day in if it's raining, you know. That's a nice calm feeling too. So I think there's always something to enjoy, whatever the weather is. Unless you're talking storms and you're in you're in danger, but that's a whole different ball game. All right, but yeah, I'm doing okay myself, by the way. Getting somewhere with some of these approaches here. So I've got just to show off a little bit how things are going. I mean, there's a lot of work to do yet, but if I draw the idealized points of this, I'm going to also hide this for a second. This should build, yeah. So, ooh, this hot pink is not doing it for me today here. Let's do blue. Yeah, catch me up. Missed most of yesterday. Eager to see the progress. Yeah, sure thing. So, I've been working on trying to get a minimal set of points to idealize these sketches, right? Which I think you're familiar with. And I have it working reasonably well. So these red points, as a human might guess, there's 3 points that you could use to kind of make an idealized version of this particular sketch. And now I have the kind of clustering algorithm here that actually does give me just 3 points there. And it works. It's not perfect, but this is all still sort of rough work anyway, so I'm going to take it as a win. But it works reasonably well with even more complicated shapes. So let me just pass one in and show that off. And then I can showcase the particular issue I'm working on next. Okay, so here, let me rebuild this drawing now. So this is a more complicated shape, right? and it correctly gets the endpoints and corner points sorted out there, which I am quite pleased with. Now, the problem I'm working through now is related to point ordering, okay? So by that, this will illustrate it very quickly what's going on. The black line here is the order that the idealized points come in, right? So point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's obviously not correct. So I'm working on coming up with a way to kind of filter away incorrect segments that you can draw between all the points by using midpoint calculations of each of these segments here. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I'll try to illustrate further. I'm going back to a simpler shape to see if I can get it working at all, as is kind of my approach here. Give me 1 second to get that drawing back up. Okay, so let's rebuild this now one more time. All right, here we are. So this is a simpler case to work with, right? So I have here the red points are nice because they're lined up nicely with the endpoints and the corner point. They're in the incorrect order though, right? Because it's drawing from this down to here and down to here. So that's just obviously incorrect. So I came up with an idea, and this will not cover every case. I'm just working it from a specific case and generalizing as I go. I want to basically create a slice thing that will slice the original polygon based on the idealized endpoints. Those particular sliced segments, then I can calculate midpoints of, and then using those midpoints I can determine just by some distance calculation which of the idealized line segments are closest to the real midpoints. So let me draw those midpoints again. If I just change this to segment midpoints, these where'd I go? This point here and this point here are the calculated midpoints of this section sliced. I used a slice along this point, which isn't shown here, but that produces two sets of points, and you can get the midpoint of this set and the midpoint of that set of points. Now all I have to do is compare. With the idealized endpoints, there's going to be 3 possible line segments. 2 of those segments will have a really small distance to any of the midpoints, and 1 of them will have relatively high distances, and that highest distance one I'm just going to eliminate. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then, since I know that won't work for other shapes, I have to try and think about how to generalize further. I hope that makes some sense. That's where I'm at. Nice, I like the sound of that solution. Yeah, I think the weakest part of that particular solution is the pretty good way to handle the first cut. Yeah, it's not bad. I think the weakest part of it is my slicing approach. If I'm just slicing on a perfect vertical or a perfect horizontal, you can end up with weird segments that don't actually help in your determination. So it's not guaranteed to be totally correct, but it might actually be fine. It just might not be optimal in the calculation sense. But I mean, I have not targeted optimization at all so far. So I'm not going to let that hang me up right now. But the next thing I need to do is make sure this little this eliminate segments function will actually get me what I need. And this, how I've written it, doesn't actually make sense yet. So I have to think through that a minute. But what I'm happy with is, as I keep going through these sorts of problems in general, how do I describe this? It used to be true that it was, let's say, the 5th or 6th or 7th idea that I had some promise for some general problem I was trying to solve. But doing this very frequently, the number of ideas that I have before I get something that is showing promise or correct in some sense feels, subjectively, I will admit, like a lower number. Like either my first idea or second or third idea gets me new information and lets me think ahead and all that stuff. Where it used to be, on average, it took me longer. I don't know if that's me just kind of editorializing my experience, but it feels like I'm kind of getting getting better at this a little bit, which is exciting if it's true, and comforting if it's not true. But hopefully there's some truth behind it. But it's not about speed, really. It is about just generally being skilled at problem solving over time. And I do really hope that I can build that skill up. Okay, so the midpoint of this line segment, right? That's what I need to check. Flexing those problem solving muscles. I think it's a correct way to think of it. Just like with any skill you use regularly, you get better and better. And problem solving is no different. Oh yeah, I completely agree with that. It's why, like, sometimes I explain to people, like in real life, oh yeah, so I studied mechanical engineering, and sometimes people say, whoa, engineering, that's pretty crazy. And I'm not saying engineering is easy, but I generally try to say to people, I really think most people can learn most things, right? It's a matter of what you're focusing your mind on, the effort you're putting into things. I'm not saying engineering is easy, but the pastiche of intellect required to do it, I think is unnecessary, I think, generally speaking, the people who think it's really hard could actually do it themselves, given time, effort, dedication, and and help. Everyone needs and benefits from help, right? And then when I tell people that I taught myself programming, people think that's pretty crazy too. And again, I'm not saying it's easy, but I try to tell people it isn't as hard as you think, right? It's just like any skill. It's a time and a focus and an effort thing. And I totally try to live that way, And because then it eliminates any kind of gatekeeping you have, and it lets, I don't know, I think it just kind of empowers everyone a little bit. But now I'm getting all soapboxy again. I'm going to be right back and turn on a light because it's getting really dark. I don't know. So if I were not streaming, I would be sitting and programming, and I'd let it get like really dark before I even think to turn on the light. I don't know if that happens to other people, but I actually kind of like working in the dark sometimes. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels cool to me sometimes. It's silly. It's really silly. But that's where I'm at sometimes. Anyway, blah blah blah. I always get too philosophical. But you gotta use the brain. You gotta use your brain. It's also fun. It's just so much fun. It's the unpleasant people in the fields who do the gatekeeping, try to follow the same approach as you when I talk about development. Explain to folks it's like learning a new language. There are grammar rules and such, but if you work at it, you can learn. Yeah, totally. So, like, on a pure logical level, I do understand where the concept of gatekeeping comes from, in the very general sense that, like, it isn't really good to have absolutely anyone saying absolutely anything about any given topic, right? Like, you do need experience and knowledge to be able to teach or speak in a field or contribute meaningfully to any given field. So it makes some sense. Like, I can connect the dots as to why people do end up gatekeeping, but I don't think it's helpful, right? I think it has the unfortunate effect of just making people sad and less curious, right? And I think that's a shame. So I really think gatekeeping is just not a helpful thing at all. So I do my best not to do it. But yeah, totally. Learning isn't easy, but I mean, it's not like we want things to be easy, really, right? Like, if people enjoy video games, it's not the most impossible games, but it's also not the easiest games, right? There's those like clicker games or those time wasting things on your phone, and people don't love those games. People get like addicted to them in some sense, right? So it's not like we need things to be easy, right? We just want things to be engaging. And if you can find that sweet spot of learning, I honestly think anyone can basically learn whatever they want, with obvious limits and stuff at the edges that I'm not qualified to really talk about, right? You know, different brain chemistries and development and all that kind of stuff. Barring those kinds of extremes, people have amazing potential. That's what I think, and that's what I love. I love it, you know? People trying to find their potential and working with it, it's fantastic. It's great stuff. And, you know, while I'm on that topic, it is one reason why I actually like streaming and this kind of stuff, is to sort of show that anyone can do a lot of things, you know? Like, in particular, I'm doing CAD and code and design work, right? But I'm just some dude, right? If I can do it, a lot of people can do it. But it's fun to share it, to show it and share it too, right? Okay, enough of that jibber jabber. I am gonna see if I can make this function work the way I want. That's my next step. So for all of the lines, get the midpoint of that line, and what I need to do is just check the distance from that midpoint to every other midpoint. So I actually don't need to filter it. What I'm just going to do is take the first from no, this isn't totally correct. How do I want to do this? All right, let's not get too clever here. Okay, I'll actually just return this. I'll just do it. I'll do it like this. Line is L, right? And then the distances is just gonna be map f/distance. Oh, I have to actually do this. You know what? Let's do partial over those midpoints. Okay, so there's a data structure. Let's do min distance. We only need the one, right? So if I do sort by, wait, I could just sort them, right? Because they're just, boy, I have, okay. Right, just a normal sort. Let me just double check that that works. Sort from minimum value to highest value, right? I'm pretty sure that's all that is. Let's see here. So if I just sort this, yeah, okay, good. That'll work. So this, if I just take the first from there, boom. Okay. And now here, I have this is gonna be so messy, but I'm just gonna do it for now. What I need to do is just take, I need to do sort by min distance, right? This whole thing. Oh, you know what? Here's a slightly cleaner way to do this. Slightly cleaner. Okay, let's do that here. So lines, distances. Yeesh. Sure. Okay. There we go. That's its own thing. And now here, all I need to do is sort by min distance, the distances, and then I actually, so that'll get me, I just need to take one less than the count of the idealized points. Boy, this seems insane, but I think it could work. Sort by the min distance, the distances. Okay, so I have to take that, but then I have to do one more thing, and that is just get the line, map v line from there. Hey Marison, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. Map v line onto this thing. Okay. All right, let's see if that actually works. We'll find out. We will find out. Okay, so here, boom. What I want to do here is create. Yeah, you're fine. What about me? Yeah, I'm doing well. Just working on this, these line idealizing algorithms still. Things feel like I'm making decent progress, which is nice. So yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood. Pretty good mood. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. Man, in general, so I'm feeling good about the progress I'm making. I will say, a little earlier today, I poked around on some other Twitch streams and things like that, and it's like, man, there are other programmers who have in the hundreds of views while they're going, and thousands of followers, and then there's people who play video games and they've got crazy big numbers, and I just look at that and say, oh, if only I could have that kind of engagement, you know. So it's like I was a little disappointed in myself briefly, but then I realized how silly that is, right? It's a matter of time and dedication too, right? And I mean, I'm doing some pretty niche stuff, so I can't even expect a huge audience, right? It doesn't make sense. But oh man, sometimes it's disheartening to see how many people will watch other stuff. But I'm in a better mood now because I'm here working and chatting and I'm having a good time. That's really kind of the important thing. Okay, so these segments here, let's do lines, and I'll do this function, eliminate segments, giving it I points and SM points. Okay. It'll come with time. And a lot of the viewers on those channels with thousands are only speaking in memes or saying really dumb things. Fair enough. Yeah, so that is one I think probable trade-off. If you grow an audience, if you want to call it that, if you grow if your follower base grows to a certain size, I would imagine that I guess to say it in as mild a way as possible, the quality of the chat and the engagement is highly dependent on the total number of active participants at any given time, which is to say, the bigger a crowd, the more generic the conversation might end up becoming. So you kind of lose a little bit of nuance, engagement, and stuff like that. And for as long as you have viewers like us, it's fun to chat with. Everything's fine, right? Like we're having fun, like yesterday. Oh yeah, Amirison, I'm totally not complaining, right? Like that you guys are in chat and talking with me it's a ton of fun. It really is. I am not at all downplaying what's already happening. It's fantastic. But you know how you could, like, the grass is always greener on the other side kind of thing. Sometimes you look at other people and you're like, wow, I wonder what it would be like. But fear not, I love this. This is a lot of fun. And like, I don't know, you take my word for it, I guess, but if I didn't like doing this, I probably wouldn't be doing it every week, so so I'm into it. And yeah, totally, it's great having other people into it as well. So I don't at all make it sound like I don't like this. To an extent it's true, but it's also about how you grow the channel. If you're starting with a base of people who are competent and articulate, when someone comes in and says, oh Pog, this Pepe guy is coding crazy cat, they might realize that they don't fit in. I don't think folks here would run that person out, but when nobody engages, they might just leave. Actually, you know what, Mike? That's actually a really good point. There's kind of like a somewhat natural filter, right? That comes into play when the general content of conversations has a certain quality to it. That's a good point. Yeah, and I actually, thinking about that, I prefer it that way, like the meme talk is not that fun ultimately, so what do we really miss out on, right? But no, that is a good point. I think that's maybe a sort of side benefit of, like, the niche that I'm working in here is programming and Clojure, right? Kind of a niche in a niche, if you will. That probably has the nice strong filter up front, right? Where people coming in are more likely to already know programming and Clojure to begin with, right? Like, it has a certain specific kind of appeal up front. So, you know, maybe it ends up being a nice little benefit as time goes on. But at the same time, I don't want to worry about that kind of stuff too much. Just kind of take it as it comes, right? And yeah, I would hope that we don't run people out of a community either, right? Just that we kind of hold a certain conversational standard to a degree, right? Because that would be weirdly gatekeeping in its own right, and I'm not cool with that. But you know what? Things are going well so far, and I'm just going to assume that we can keep things going well. Okay, all right. Let's see what these lines look like. Let's just run. I'll be all lazy about it here. How do I want to do this? I'm just going to do the laziest possible thing I could think of at the moment and just take the first of the lines and see if this will actually draw or if there's an error. Okay, so you can't really see it, but there's a black line there. Let's make it white. Well, that was a silly choice. Pink. Geez, none of this is working in my favor right now. There's a line right here. That's what I wanted to see. Now let's take the second, because there should only be two. Come on, come on. I hope that it's on this here. Yes. Okay. That's a good sign. I'm happy with that so far. Now, I have to just turn it into how did I do this? I had a system for this already where I kind of chain two line segments together based on the equivalence of a point. And I forget how I did that. That's over in the Forge thing here somewhere. Boy, I did a lot of work here. Order lines, that's what it was. Okay, so let's see if order lines will actually get me the result I want here. Let's have a look. Oh, also, actually, let me, well, jumping ahead of myself here. Okay, so I have access to that in the pencil namespace, which is good. Come on. There we go. Okay. All I want to do is sort this stuff out. Oh boy. Oh shoot. I gotta take care of something quickly. I will be right back, like 2 minutes. Okay, I'm approaching some form of completeness here, which is nice. So I think I forget what this function returns, if it's a list of lines or if it's just a set of points. If it's just a set of points, then I'm pretty much sorted, but let me just make a test set here. Let's do this is going to be a line, and this is also a line. Okay, so that's the function call. Now I just have to do 0, 0 to 1, 1, and this is going to be 1, 1 to 20, 40. Doesn't matter. Oh, wait, what happened? That's not what I expected. Why would that happen that way? Do they have to be 3D? Shouldn't matter. Boy, this is one little downside of working in all different parts of the code base, right? You can lose track of things a little bit. I keep telling myself that when things get more and more robust and figured out, this does get better, and I think that's true. I don't want to rush myself to conclude and build things that aren't ready, but I do want to get there, you know. I'm anxious to get there. So this didn't work the way I expected it to, which is fine. I just need to figure it out. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, you know? Okay, so let's see here that this is 20, 40, 0, and this is 2, 1, 2. Okay. Oh. Okay. So that's not... Why did I do it that way? I built this function to create... Oh, I think this order lines thing is built with the assumption that it's lines of a closed polygon. Therefore, in this setup, it assumes that the final line segment matches up directly with the first one here. So I can't quite use this for what I was going for. Ooh, okay. So and the reason it is that way is actually just because I'm going to guess before I go back to the source that the last operation I do in the order line source code is map first over the sorted lines. If that's true, then that's why I end up with a missing point through the line segments there. So yeah, that's exactly it. So I recur on it here, and this is a little weird, right? I should maybe flip the order of it, but it works. So if count of lines equals count of sorted, which is the accumulation here, that means you're done. And then here I do indeed the final operation, like I said, was I map V first over sorted so that I get, in the case of a closed polygon, I could map either first or second, and I'd have all the same points just rotated by one in a closed polygon situation. But in the situation that I'm thinking about here, I just have two open line segments, and so I'm only going to get the start and end point of the first segment, it's not gonna get what I need. So that doesn't help me out. What's the right approach here? I could just, for this ordered lines thing here, instead of returning the sorted, instead of just returning the points here, it actually makes more sense if I actually do just return sorted. But then I'd have to go back through this and change up the calls here, which I can do. I don't want to have to I'm just lazy. Oh man, that's okay. Where does that end up being used? Order lines. It's gotta be somewhere in here, right? Oh, right here, order lines. Well, let me change this up. What I have to do here, if I'm just going to return sorted, do I want to do it this? You know what? I'm gonna cheat it a little bit here and copy. Yeah, I'm gonna, just for now, do this. Let's put it here. And I'll actually call it merge lines instead. And I'll just change the logic of this up a little bit. What's the right thing to do here? I could, well, here, I'm gonna leave myself just a note here so that I remember what's going on. Merge lines is derived from f/order lines. Note, order lines should probably change to return a list of lines, not a list of points. That is confusing. Merge lines is a temporary fix, a temporary cheat due to laziness. I probably should change the logic of f/order lines so I can use that both for closed and open poly lines and gons. There, that's fine. Okay, so let's reverse engineer this for a minute. Let's also do here, for now, merge lines assumes an open shape, so always creates an open polyline. Right, okay. That should be fine for getting this little bit done. This will probably be the last thing I can do for the rest of the stream. I gotta get going in a little bit. But if I can get this kind of working, it's a really good stepping stone for advancements that I could hopefully work on the weekend and show off a sweet, finally working set of functions on Monday, maybe. I don't know. I have to put my put fuel to the fire on the weekend if I want to get anywhere close to that. So we shall see. So what I can do here is actually do all I really have to do is conj onto the sorted list the second from last of sorted, so I get that's a weird way to do that. Is drop last an option here? Ah, it is. Okay, let's do this instead. Drop last of sorted, and instead of conj I concat that with the last of sorted. So what's happening here is I'm just getting the first points of all the lines except for the last line, and then the last line I need both points, so I'm just tacking that onto the end of that list, and that should do the trick. Okay, so if I run, whoops, oh yeah, this has to be merge lines, and then otherwise it should work. Okay, let's give that a shot. So let's test it with this. This should work. Whoops. Oh geez. Merge. Hey, there we go. That's what I want. I want, given two lines with a shared point, to have that exact outcome. Okay. Let me try that over here. Where am I at? Idealized sketch is the result of merge lines on the list of remaining segments after you run the elimination. That's iSketch. And then what I should be able to draw here is, instead of second lines, is just iSketch. Let's see what happens. So close. What went wrong here? Probably, let's do this here. The classic problem that I haven't cleaned up yet. Let's see if that is what we're missing. Ooh, something's gone wrong. Okay. Interesting. Well, okay. Let's see. What could be going on here? Yeah, okay. You know what I can do? Comment all that stuff out and just have this return okay, that's not what I expected. eliminate segments, merge lines. What does that return? Just a single point. That's not correct. But that's okay. I can work with this. Let's get rid of the merge lines and see what shows up when I do this. It might be incorrect baked in assumptions about order of segments here. Yeah, okay, I've got a problem here. These okay, see that? I need one of those segments to be flipped, unfortunately, because the match point, oh man, that's a bummer. How do I handle that? Right, like if I do this, let's see that, let's make sure I'm right here. Line A, line B. And then iSketch is merge lines of the list, line A, and reverse line B. Okay. Oops. Still not right. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I'm doing it wrong. I have to reverse LA. Can't just flip them willy-nilly. Okay, so this is not a robust approach at the moment. This can work, I just am not using an intelligent approach, that's all. I think. Let's try this. Seriously, I'm still not correct. Alright, let's I'm really losing the plot here today. Oof. I had a nice go at it. Running into problems is par for the course. Okay, so here, right, what I kind of expected was this line here, this is some starting point. This is the point to compare with this point on this next line, which I thought would work. If I run f/order lines on this, that's wrong. There's a nil. Something's wrong. Okay. Right, this still won't work. Yeah. That also doesn't work. I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm thinking I won't bother trying to solve it today anymore. Just write some notes to myself so I know what I'm doing next time. Same problem there. I'm not trying anything new here. Same problem there. Okay. I'm clearly missing something. So I'm close, right? Because I have the correct line segments. I just need to merge them intelligently now, and that's the trouble I'm having. It shouldn't be that hard. And let me think if... No, the order matters. So I have to do some kind of logic with flipping the segments, because I can't just put them into a set, because... Wait a second, can I... Okay, let's try. I have maybe a strange idea. Let's try this. Let's, instead of doing this merge thing, actually, no. Merge lines might still be important. Let's try something simpler on this particular case, though. In the case where I have two segments, I know I only need 3 points, so all I should have to do is let's let LB be the filter not in how does this work? No, into a set LA. Filter, oh boy, okay. Filter the line B, take the point of line B that is not in line A, right? Then iSketch is just going to be concat LA LB. Let's see if that makes any sense. Wrong number of arguments. What did I do this time? Does this work? I think it does. Into a set, let's put a vector of point values 1 1 2 2. Okay, that does work. And then can I do not oh wait, does it have to be complement maybe? I think it might have to be complement. No, that's still wrong. Oh, wait a second. Oh, of course. How does this work again? The complement of this. I'm not sure that I did this right. Huh. I guess I did. Okay. Let's draw that now. What a mess. Okay. Is that gonna draw? Ooh, it's still wrong. What did I do now? Oh, did I just throw away all the effort because of... Huh. Back to square one, eh? Or am I drawing the wrong thing? No. Shoot. I goofed. And I goofed because... One second here. LA. That's LA. LB is the other side. Oh, what happened to LB? Oh, right, it's just a single point because of this weirdness. Yeah, that's no good. Start this over for a minute. Okay. All right, so I'm spinning my wheels right now. That's probably a sign that I should call it for the day, I think. I'm fairly confident that tomorrow morning I will know exactly what to do to get this working properly. Like it's almost guaranteed to not actually be that complicated. I'm just not following through very intelligently here. Right, because it's not that in any possible scenario all three of the same points will exist. It's just that the order of those points matters, and I'm not thinking through the order beforehand. I'm just trying to get there. For sure, a fresh set of eyes will work wonders, since you seem to have it most of the way there. Yeah, it's certainly coming along decently well, which I'm happy with. I'll for sure have to clean this up, right? Because the functions I'm building, they're not necessarily using the right kind of arguments in. Like, eliminate segments. It might make more sense to run that on a polygon directly, or I don't know. I have to get the kind of pipeline flow of these functions cleaned up, but the logic of the solution is most of the way there. In fact, I would say it is there. I mean, merging lines based on their shared midpoint is something I'm very sure I can get. I already did it once. I should be able to do it again. It's a matter of just flipping lines around and stuff like that. It's not a big deal. But this is exciting for me. Might not be showing it that way right now, but like I honestly, I think it's so cool to get an actual drawing that I drew. I mean, not on paper, although I have ideas for how I could get this to work from a picture of a sketch on paper. To have that be path data that I could put into a CAD pipeline is just that's cool to me. That's so exciting, and I'm closer and closer every day. Right, like that's great, and it's not even like that complicated, really. The more and more complicated stuff will be kind of, if I want to go down the path of guessing depth based on heuristics of line orientations and stuff, that's much more complicated, but one step at a time. This on its own is already pretty powerful in my opinion, so I'm really happy with that. Every day I'm actually, like, the progress I make is a little bit surprising to me, because I go in without a clear idea of what to do, and I end up with a little bit more progress, and that's just fantastic. Okay, that's gonna be it for me for Friday. I'm gonna have a nice weekend. I'm gonna play some video games tonight. You know, I'm just gonna relax. Nothing wrong with being excited for the work you've accomplished. Doesn't matter how big or small the accomplishment. Yeah, thanks for the encouragement. You know, it maybe sometimes I'm a little too positive and too sappy, but it just feels good. You know, take the wins, right? But yeah, I'm gonna play. I have a Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna play. What's it called? There's a game I just downloaded called Hades. It looks like fun. Haven't played it yet, so gonna relax and play some games. And who knows? Maybe the solution pops out of my subconscious tonight yet. But I'm not gonna put any pressure on myself. I'll do my little sign-off bits. Yeah, it's a cool game. You like it, I think. Cool. Yeah, it is pretty popular right now, and I believe it's the same studio that did Bastion and Transistor, right? If that's the case, I know they're an awesome studio, great artwork, all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'll do my normal sign-off. Anyone who's tuned in now, anyone who might be tuning in after I've streamed and all that stuff, sincerely thank you for that. It's one of the things that keeps me doing this. I enjoy the chatting, I enjoy the engagement, and as things grow, I hope anyone who's hearing this would be happy to be part of that. You can help with sharing things around, giving a follow, following my GitHub, Twitter, Patreon, all that normal stuff, you know. I don't like hawking it, but it's important if I want things to grow. So thanks for bearing with me as I say that once in a while. Okay, that's all I've got to say. Thanks once again. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will be back again on Monday. And I'm gonna have just a great weekend, and I hope you do too. All right. Goodbye. If I hit stop, maybe it'll stop.